Hello, everyone. Welcome to DataNext podcast. This is your host, Zeeshan Baig. I am founder and CEO of DataNext Solutions based in Chicago, Illinois. At DataNext, we take care of all your cloud, big data, and DevOps technology needs. So, in today's topic, I will discuss about different stages in DevOps. We'll see what is DevOps actually is, what are the common tools we use in DevOps, how we build the DevOps pipeline. So, let's dive into it and see what is DevOps. So, traditionally, we have been working in a way where software development was done by one team, tested by other team, managed by some other team, and supported by entirely different team. And there were a lot of drawbacks with that approach, and the life cycle was kind of slow. And with the modern world of cloud computing, people are expecting you to release feature almost every week. They're expecting to fix bugs quickly. They want modern features in their apps. We are now developing software in a more agile way. In order to shorten the life cycle and complexities of development and deployment, this term DevOps was born. So DevOps is basically short of development and operations. We merge all different teams into one. So the team who develops the software now is responsible to manage, maintain, and support it. And this change happened because of the latest shift with cloud computing and more agile project management. So, like I said earlier, that people are expecting you to release feature quickly. You see iOS apps updates and all different Facebook and all these modern companies, they deploy the code almost multiple times every day. So that's because of the DevOps practice. And in order to get most out of the cloud, you have to work in more agile way and design your applications using microservices. So basically, what DevOps does is improves the process. So what are different stages in DevOps pipeline? You heard the term CI/CD pipeline. Uh, so I'll get more into it. What is CI? What is CD? And DevOps pipeline is not something to just implement one single software or tool. It's more about like using what works for you and bring them all together. So that's how you build the DevOps pipeline. And I'll go into more of different stages of DevOps practice. And then we'll see like what are the popular tools used in different stages. So the first stage is plan. This is where we document a change. So issue tracking systems, task board, cards, software like Jira is very popular. Trello, Confluence, or SharePoint to some extent are popular. Some people also use Microsoft Teams servers, which has a lot of collaborative tools. But I've seen Jira is the most common one here to document a change. People um, usually issue a ticket system. Some also use ServiceNow. I personally like to use Trello. It's easy and simple to-do list kind of a layout, but and it's free. You can have like a desktop application, mobile app, and stuff as well. And a lot of different tools provide integration with Trello as well. But enterprises usually use ServiceNow and Jira. But if you are working on a small project where you can handle things easily, you want to see everything on one single page. I like to use Trello for my personal use. So this is the first stage where you actually document any change. So whatever comes, there is a change in the software, you issue a ticket, issue a bug, anything, you have to document that. And based on that, the other things will come in. Once you are done with planning, you need to actually write code. So this stage is like a version control. So when you write code, you have to manage who did what. When you have multiple developers working on a different components or elements of the code, you have to bring them together or keep a versioning basically. Most popular choices are GitHub or Bitbucket. You can also use services from AWS or Azure to do the GitHub repositories, but mostly people use the github.com or Bitbucket cloud services. So once we are done with the version control system, we have source control system in place, and developers are checking into the code. The next steps is actually kicks in the DevOps pipeline, and that process is called continuous integration, or you can CI for short, you can say. So continuous integration is where you will actually build the code, you will compile, validate, resolve all the dependencies. You will do your code reviews, do your unit testing, integration testing. The main focus of the CI process is to merge code from all developers to a central branch or location, and avoid conflicts. So basically resolve all the dependencies. And if you have multiple developers, you're working in a different teams, bring or for example a microservices design where different teams are building different APIs, but when you bring them all together, you have to actually make the code deployment ready. So make sure it's compiling properly, it's resolving dependencies and stuff like that. So tools like Jenkins is very popular and common in enterprise world. Um, TeamCity is another popular choice. Getting a lot of people are adopting it. You can also use some cloud services such as AWS Code Build or Microsoft Azure. Also have team services. Continuous integration is, you can say, the heart of the DevOps. So next is continuous delivery. And this process is about how you would deliver or produce your application to your consumers in very short cycles. The main focus for the continuous delivery stage is to keep the code in the deployable state. And generally, it's a good practice to develop your application using microservice approach, like I said earlier, so you can deliver that in short cycles. So slightly difference in continuous integration and continuous delivery. Continuous integration focuses more on the developer side, where your end users are kind of a developer. It helps resolve conflicts between developers code, while continuous delivery basically make it more UAT ready. And tools like Terraform, Puppet, Chef, Ansible, and other configuration management tools basically comes into play in this stage. People also now using Docker and Kubernetes to make basically automatically set up and tear down the environment sets as a part of the CI/CD process. Another stage is similar to the delivery. It's called continuous deployment. With continuous deployment, every change that is made in the code is automatically deployed to the production. So it goes through the tunnel, for example, continuous integration, then delivery, and then deployment. Slightly difference between these three stages. Continuous integration focus more on the developers, so it solves problems of the developers, while continuous delivery is basically focused more on the pre-production and testing user phase. It provides the environment for the pre-production and deploy code to the pre-production, make the code into more deployable state, while continuous deployment move the change to the production environment. So companies like Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, they continuously deploy new code changes, fix bugs into the production environment multiple times a day without impacting any operation. And finally, there is continuous monitoring to look everything that we talked about earlier. And this process is there to detect any security compliances or risk with an organization. So tools like Splunk, Elasticsearch are very popular in this space. So basically, you do logging everything. If there are issues, you send alert to the developers that your code is not compiled and stuff like that. So, this concludes today's episode. We talked about different stages of DevOps pipeline. We start with the plan. We bring tools like Jira or any other tool to log the change. Then we bring version control system into like GitHub into the place where everybody can write code and check into that repository to keep the versioning. Then it kick off the continuous integration process where we actually compile, validate, and resolve dependencies of the code and avoid conflicts with the developers that who did what change and if it's not breaking the application. Then there is like a continuous delivery process where tools like Chef, Puppet, Ansible comes into the play to build the testing environment for the and testing users and tear up and down the environments automatically. And then the continuous deployment process comes into the place where you actually deploy the code automatically to the production. For example, you have seen many apps gets update on mobile devices. You get the update that new app is available. So that is basically a deployment of the new code. So basically changes goes incrementally into the production. It's not like something you the site is offline and you cannot use this site. Changes are moving incrementally. That process is called continuous deployment, and tools like Jenkins for Java stuff is popular, and Octopus for .NET application is quite popular these days. Then we do like a continuous monitoring where we look everything in the process working or not. So, hope you enjoyed listening to today's podcast. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share. You can contact me on podcast at datanextsolutions.com. Podcast is PODCASTS at datanextsolutions.com, or follow me on Twitter at IAM Zeeshan Baig. IAMZEESHANBAIG, and I'll see you next week with another topic. Cheers.